The Tasmanian Devil, also referred to as Taz, is an animated cartoon character featured in the Warner Bros. Looney Tunes, and Merrie Melodies series of cartoons. Though the character appeared in only 5 shorts before Warner Bros. Cartoons closed down in 1964, marketing and television appearances later propelled the character to new popularity in the 1990s. Personality: Taz is generally portrayed as a ferocious albeit dim-witted omnivore with a notoriously short temper and little patience. His enormous appetite seems to know no bounds, as he will eat anything in his path. He is best known for his speech consisting mostly of grunts, growls, and rasps, as well as his ability to spin like a vortex and bite through just about anything. Taz does have one weakness: he can be calmed by almost any music. While in this calm state, he can be easily dealt with. In 1991, Taz got his own show, Tasmania, which ran for 4 seasons, in which Taz was the protagonist. Creation and first appearance: Robert McKimson based the character on the real-life Tasmanian Devil, or more specifically its carnivorous nature, voracious appetite, and surly disposition. Owen and Pemberton suggest that the character of the Tasmanian Devil was inspired by Errol Flynn. The most noticeable resemblance between the Australian marsupial and McKimson's creation is their ravenous appetites and crazed behaviour. Although the bipedal Tasmanian Devil's appearance does not resemble its marsupial inspiration, it contains multi-layered references to other devils. He has horn-shaped tufts of fur on his head and whirls about like a dust devil, which sounds like several motors whirring in unison. Taz is constantly ravenously hungry. His efforts to find more food are always a central plot device of his cartoons. In fact, this appetite serves as the impetus for McKimson's Devil May Hare. In the short, Taz stalks Bugs Bunny, but due to his dim-wittedness and inability to frame complete sentences, he serves as little more than a nuisance. Bugs eventually gets rid of him in the most logical way possible, matching him up with an equally insatiable female Tasmanian Devil. The character's speech, a deep, gravelly voice peppered with growls, screeches, and raspberries, is provided by Mel Blanc. Only occasionally would Taz actually speak, usually to utter some incongruous punchline, and yet the character is capable of writing and reading. A running gag is that when Bugs Bunny hears of the approach of Taz, and looks him up in an encyclopedia and starts reading off a list of animals that Taz eats, Bugs finds rabbits not listed until Taz enters and either points out that rabbits are listed or writes rabbits on the list. After the film short debuted at theaters, producer Edward Seltzer, head of the Warner Bros. Animation studio, ordered McKimson to shelve the character, feeling that it was too violent for children, and that parents would dislike this. After a time with no new Taz shorts, studio head Jack L. Warner asked what had happened to the character. Warner saved Taz's career when he told Seltzer that he had received boxes and boxes of letters from people who liked the character and wanted to see more of him. Later shorts, McKimson would go on to direct 4 more Taz cartoons, beginning with Bedeviled Rabbit. McKimson would also pair the Devil with Daffy Duck in Ducking the Devil before pitting him once again against Bugs in Bill of Hare and Dr. Devil and Mr. Hare. His last 2 appearances done by the classic Warner Brothers directors, writers, and voice actors were in Bugs Bunny's Looney Christmas Tales, appearing in the Fright Before Christmas segment and at the very end eating the sleigh full of presents. Then he appeared in the 1983 movie Daffy Duck's Fantastic Island as Yosemite Sam's first mate. Taz appeared in the Looney Tunes show episode Devil Dog voiced by Jim Cummings. In the show, he is portrayed walking on 4 legs like a real Tasmanian Devil and his eyes are bloodshot red. Initially, Bugs believed Taz to be a dog and kept him as a house pet, to his roommate, Daffy Duck's discomfort. Eventually Bugs learned the truth and tried to return him to his home in Tasmania, only to find out that Taz would rather live with him, naming him Poochie. Taz subsequently appears in the following episodes: The Foghorn Leghorn Story, Newspaper Thief, and Bugs and Daffy Get a Job. Taz will appear in Wobbit as Theodore Tasmanian, an accountant who tries to repress his vicious side. Home video: all 5 of the original Taz cartoons are included in Looney Tunes Platinum Collection, Volume 1 as is the Fright Before Christmas. In popular culture, the character's first video game outing was in a title from the later days of the Atari 2600, in a 1983 release entitled Tars. The 1990s saw a return of the character to video games in Tasmania and its semi-sequel Tars in Escape from Mars. Both titles appeared on the Mega Drive, Genesis, Master System and Game Gear systems. There were other Tasmania games released on the Nintendo SNES and Game Boy systems. He also co-starred in the PlayStation PC game Bugs Bunny in Tars, Time Busters, and in 2002's Tars, Wanted on PlayStation 2, GameCube, Xbox and PC. He also appeared in the video games The Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 2, The Bugs Bunny Birthday Blowout, Looney Tunes, Acme Arsenal, Looney Tunes, Space Race, Bugs Bunny Crazy Castle 3, Bugs Bunny and Crazy Castle 4, and Looney Tunes, Back in Action. The Sonic the Hedgehog series from Archie Comics featured feral Tasmanian Devil characters that heavily resembled Tars, and were described as the only Sonic the Hedgehog-like species not to have fully evolved. This trait, originally intended as a nod to Tars's bestial behavior in comparison to other anthropomorphic Looney Tunes characters, became the basis of a major subplot before the comic series was rebooted in 2013. Tars made a cameo appearance as himself in Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed when Scooby drinks a potion which turns him into Tars. Tars also appeared in the MAD segments Tasmanian Devil Duster, and Body of PWOOF. The ID monster in the classic science fiction movie Forbidden Planet strongly resembles the Tars. Tars appeared in a 2014 GEICO commercial, where he drinks a certain energy drink, and goes on a rampage. Lawsuits. In 1997, a newspaper report noted that Warner Brothers had trademarked the character and registered the name Tasmanian Devil, and that this trademark was policed, including an 8-year legal battle to allow a Tasmanian company to call its fishing lure the Tasmanian Devil. Debate followed, and a delegation from the Tasmanian state government met with Warner Brothers. Ray Groom, the tourism minister, later announced that a verbal agreement had been reached. An annual fee would be paid to Warner Brothers in return for the government of Tasmania being able to use the image of Tars for marketing purposes. This agreement later lapsed. In 1997, the Tasmanian government and Warner Brothers disputed the government's right to use the character as a tourism promotion, which was offered only if a fee was paid. The government refused to pay a fee to Warner Brothers. In 2006, after much lobbying from the Tasmanian government, Warner Brothers decided to assist the fight against extinction of the Tasmanian Devil due to devil facial tumor disease. Tasmanian Environment Minister Judy Jackson, prior to the agreement, had heavily criticized Warner Brothers, stating that the company had made millions of dollars from the character, but did not put up any money when other companies had. The deal with Warner Brothers allowed the Tasmanian government to manufacture and sell up to 5,000 special edition Tars plush toys, with all profit going towards funding scientific research into DFTD. The deal also aimed to increase public attention towards the threatening disease. Notes. References: Adamson, Joe 50 Years and Only One Gray Hair. New York, Henry Holt & Company. Schneider, Steve. That's All Folks. The Art of Warner Brothers. Animation. New York, Henry Holt & Company. External links. LooneyTunes.com, unofficial site of the Tasmanian Devil. Tars, Toonapedia, Tasmanian Devil.